Welcome back to She Talks, a Soul Healing Essentials podcast. I'm your host, Ali, the spiritual architect. Today, we're going to be talking about the long-awaited topic of the root chakra. And I have with me my fellow aura practitioner, Aggie, joining me. Aggie, welcome, welcome, welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you for joining.
Oh, it's an honor to be here, Ali. I'm an aura practitioner, and I have learned so much through becoming a certified aura practitioner. And I would love to talk about the root chakra today and how much it can help hold us through all our experiences.
Yeah, it's interesting that just kind of looking through my notes, I find that so many when you're kind of feeling off, the ways that people describe what they're experiencing is basically root chakra related. So it's actually one of the most profound and important chakras within the body when it comes to making yourself feel balanced and feel like you're supported and kind of this world. It's generally root chakra. So for anyone who's kind of new to the chakra system, so the root chakra, the word chakra is Sanskrit and it means wheel. So it's, if you're connecting to the chakras from a let's see, if you're viewing it with your third eye, right? So if you're viewing it from a meditative perspective, I tend to see it as it's spinning a lot. And that is how they generally describe it as far as the meaning of the word. In this case, it's Muladhara, which is base, foundation, root support. So that is specifically what the root chakra is in Sanskrit. And this specific chakra is a earth energy. So it's a very masculine, very active energy. And it's associated with the color red. It connects our mind with the physical body, and it brings us down to earth, especially when we feel like we're spacing out. So if you feel like you're sort of flighty and you just can't, you just can't ground, like you can't connect with yourself, it's probably because something's a little bit off with the root chakra. And even just my description just right then, I couldn't think of anything better than to say grounding. It's when you feel like your head is off in the clouds and you kind of can't tangibly connect to anything. The best thing you can do is to ground. So I tend to say, go stand with bare feet, go stand on grass, maybe the sand, if you have access to sand, by the beach, maybe go put your feet in the ocean, and you just kind of feel yourself connecting through your toes with the earth, and you feel like you're grounded, you feel supported, you feel like you're more solid. So where does that come in for you? What do you do when you feel like you're just a little bit off balance? Where do you start?
I would say, set the intent. You want to step into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, we always have tools that we can use, whether it be an essential oil or maybe an herb that calls to you,
Mm-hmm.
or, other things. It could be an amulet, whatever benevolently speaks to you and brings you strength and helps you step into yourself, because that's what you want to do is, even your breath,
Yeah.
they always talk about, take a deep breath,
Mm-hmm.
take a deep breath. And, maybe even just shutting your eyes for a moment, so you can set that intent to
Sorry about
balance.
my puppy here. He's feeling ungrounded. It's funny that you use the word amulet. I feel like weirdly that word is coming up for me a lot, the word amulet. And when in life do we use it? The word amulet. So I love that you use that word. Anyway, continue, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually, I have a space where, to me, like I have jewelry that I've been gifted. To me, that's my amulet.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I'll say to myself, what do I want to carry with me today?
Mm-hmm.
And to just set the intent to be present, and see. how much better your life flows when you are present. Because I think that's part of being in that root chakra, is choosing to be present and in the moment, because we are programmed to step out of ourselves. If something goes sideways, what is that out? We're trained to go outside of ourselves. And we, not saying that things outside of ourselves can enhance our lives, but you want to trust yourself and build that organic foundation of who you are and what your truth is.
That's such a beautiful point you just made. I was actually thinking about that this morning in the shower, because my best thoughts come in the shower. Um, and I was thinking about, when we feel uncomfortable with something, or we feel like it's too big for us to handle, right? Be it an emotional thing or worries or whatever's going on in our lives, all too often it is so tempting to tune out instead of connect within. Whether you put on TV or you go have a drink, or whatever it might be, the urge so often is distraction, 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 right?
Mm.
So yeah, I'm so glad that you're mentioning that, because truly, it's true that if you were to, well, what if you were to sit in that moment with it, feel all the feels, all the stuff, and then you might actually have that epiphany of what to do next, versus tune out and then you still have to deal with it later, but now it's potentially a bigger problem. you know um,
Right.
so I'm so glad that you put it like that. It's just because you mentioned foods and essential oils and crystals. I just wanted to kind of expand upon that, because I have a little list of foods that I researched, for this topic. And a lot of it is root vegetables. So, parsnips, carrots, radishes, things like that, even onions. They're, and potatoes, obviously. They're foods that can help you with the grounding process. So if you're, experiencing things where you're just off in your head, your emotions all over the place, maybe having something hearty like that can also help. And we actually mention it, right, in our aura sessions, or even raw sessions, right? So the regression sessions and the Reiki sessions, we say afterwards, have something grounding, go have something to eat and focus on the grounding foods, such as maybe have a stew or something like that, so that you ground back into this reality and you firmly, put your feet into the ground again. And a lot of the meditations, even for the root chakra, are visualizing yourself rooting into the earth. So literal roots coming out of the bottom of your feet to connect to the earth. And it's a beautiful connection, I think. um, what essential oils do you tend to use when you're feeling the need to connect to this root chakra and grounding? What calls you usually? Do you have a set of oils that you kind of go to, or?
Well, there are actually some essential oils that are just called, earth. Of course, you always want to go for organic or therapeutic grades so
Uh-huh.
that, you can apply it on yourself, or, you know, use it in other ways. You can even make like a little spray for yourself,
Hmm.
a roll on. There's all different ways to utilize them, but I find them so effective when I do think to, incorporate that. But you think sandalwood or cedar, any of the earthly,
Hmm.
um, but even like you think of all the different herbs we're blessed with, like sage and lemongrass and lavender, they're all calming, and I mean, when you think about earth, I mean, we're so blessed to be here, and
Hmm.
we have so many things to choose from, to create our space.
That's so true. Yeah.
No matter where you are, what your situation may be, you can incorporate that. And don't try to make it complicated. Keep it simple. See what comes to you. Use what's around you. Um, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think there is that pressure, that outside pressure of having to get it right. Just let it flow. Let it
Hmm.
flow. Whatever you have to connect with. Like I said, maybe it's just 5 or 10 minutes in the morning or 5 or 10 minutes when you get home. Like I would set the intent. Okay, when I come in at the end of my day, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to spend some time grounding and connecting for myself.
Hmm.
And then that carries into your life. As you
That's
start,
true. Yeah.
as you do this, the practice will grow because it becomes a habit, and then you start seeing it show up in your conversations
Hmm.
and all that you do. You're like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Stop being trying to be so perfect about it, because
Hmm.
that's a state of forgiveness as well, isn't it? Just forgive yourself
Right?
if you
Yeah.
don't think that you're getting it right. First of all, where did you get the idea that you're not getting it right?
Yeah. What is
Because that
right?
is a root chakra thing.
Hmm.
The getting it right, getting it perfect. Oh, otherwise I won't be accepted.
Right.
Okay, like,
Right.
who taught you that? Where did you even get the idea? And yeah, those oils, I mean, root chakra is usually really flowering, earthy scented oils, like ginger, you mentioned lavender, cedar. I love frankincense. And by the
Hmm.
way, frankincense hits just about every single chakra. So if you don't know, go for the frankincense. And maybe in the case of root chakra, put it on the bottom of your feet, for example, rather than what do I do with this thing? um,
Right. Right.
but I love the idea that you even said, make a room spray and just don't make it complicated. If you've got some lavender oil, put that in your little room spray it around, and just feel that calmness as you do that, as you inhale these beautiful scents. Um,
Hmm.
I just love the way you mentioned that, because yeah, I think we sometimes almost over obsessive. Well, which one is right for this, and which one feels right to you? That's all that really matters. Which one
Absolutely.
which one feels good in the moment. And so root chakra is often associated with our tribe, and I think that's why it's so beautiful that you mentioned that aspect of it, because it, like I said, it kind of tunes into that forgiveness of, where did we learn that we needed to be so perfect? What about our interaction with others made us feel that way? I mean, that's a heavy topic, but
Oh,
but
no, no, no. And I think it's great because we all, have, it's part of growing and living and being is wanting to transform because as we transform and release things, we open up space for something new.
Mhm.
So, if you're grounded, right, and you're balanced, um, you're going to be open to, letting new things in or transforming things
Yeah,
so that you can have a different experience because, we don't want to just rinse and repeat all the time. We want to have, we want to go with the flow and, be able to have a new perspective and new experiences and bring new things to everyday things.
yeah. And that's beautiful the way you put that, rinse and repeat, because that's that autopilot thing again, isn't it? Of, oh gosh, I'm feeling something. I'm not used to this. What is this? Let me tune out.
Right.
Well, how we've always done it in the past is, and then you just kind of mindlessly go through those steps rather than think about, well, why am I doing it like this if it also makes me feel bad on top of that? you know,
Right.
why am I, yes, that just goes so beautifully hand in hand with, what are you trying to accomplish? Who are you trying to impress that's not even in the room? And why are we just mindlessly going on autopilot rather than maybe going through the process of, like you mentioned, grounding, whatever that may be, and then kind of thinking about what would actually feel right in this situation, rather than the the list of things that I tend to turn to. Because I even when we started talking about the idea of even doing this podcast together, I loved that your first reaction almost was, I'm going to clean and I'm going to do some gardening to think about it. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, like her natural response is to go do the root chakra grounding things. you know I just loved that.
I actually look forward to those things.
you know, so well, and the world, especially right now, is so confusing. I feel like doing I'm like a gardener now more than ever. In fact, as we speak, my palm is completely just rubbed raw from where I was digging a hole and trying to put, the stuff in my garden. And so right now, especially, I'm so connecting to gardening and stuff. So yeah, as soon as you said that, I went, oh, kindred spirit. Yeah, I love
Uh,
that.
Right. And that's how we honor and ground ourselves too.
Hmm.
Part of grounding, it's that whole, being strong. So when the storm comes, you think about like the tree, the tree wants to have good roots. So when those storms come, you can go with it. You can go with the flow. Or when it's a beautiful sunny day, you can reach up and enjoy that sunshine.
Yeah,
You're going to be ready for anything when you're grounded.
yeah. Well, and even the tree, right? They always say, water it so that it goes deep in. So you water it for
Hmm.
a longer period of time, but less often. Therefore, the roots have to go deep. So again, it's that idea of patience. Be patient, be grounding, and
Hmm.
really set up a really nice, strong base for yourself. So when the storms come, you've got a lot of things to connect to, so that you're not just flapping around in the wind and potentially being knocked over. You're sturdy in your base. I love that. So
Absolutely.
there's certain stones and crystals that tend to be for the root chakra, such as hematite, tiger's eye, apparently emerald, in order to calm if we're feeling like we're a little bit just kind of all over the place. So emerald, which I found interesting. Garnet, smoky quartz, black tourmaline, black onyx, agate. I'm of the belief of, when you're feeling whatever it is that you're feeling, what's, speaks to you. So if you've already got some crystals around your house, then whichever one speaks to you is the one that I would grab for. But I would also say, if you're, in the park or in the woods or on the beach or something, and there's a pebble or something along those lines that just really speaks to you, then that is your grounding stone. It doesn't have to be some crystal that you went and purchased or spent money on or anything. I mean, it's just sort of all around us. Is there a specific stone that you tend to gravitate towards when it comes to root chakra, or like a stone that stands out for you?
I actually, I like the stones that they recommend, but I agree with you. If you're out in nature incorporating a special stone, or maybe something has been gifted to you, I definitely I like the hematite and all of those stones. And I it's the intention you set when you work with the stone.
Hmm.
Because I mean, to me it's amazing. You just things will come, when you start to open your eyes, things are going to come to you.
Hmm.
um I tell you, when my children are grown now, but I used to bring them to the beach. I used to join, and I would bring them to the beach in the afternoon, and I would always find heartstones.
Really?
And I would just be like, "What? Why do I keep finding these
Yeah,
heartstones?" You know.
that's beautiful.
So
A
the
little
message.
love from the earth.
Right, right. The messages are always there. And,
Hmm.
we just had so much fun with that. They would
Mm.
play in the playground and swim. I mean, that was like our happy time.
Hmm.
No matter, whatever went on in the day, they were so happy to be there. And we would just, that was a happy time. And I'm so grateful for those experiences. And, there's going to be other experiences as well. We take them all in, whatever they may be, and we flow with it.
Yeah.
But to be grounded, those things will come to you more easily because you won't be in that monkey busy mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Well,
I said, step into yourself, like I am, I am love, and ground, and then see what the universe brings you.
hmm well, what I'm also hearing there is, uh, I don't even know how to put this. There's never the words, never ever. I always struggle with the words, but even you saying, um, you would take the children to the ocean, and in some ways that is a little bit of almost like a distraction for whatever's happening, but it's so mindful, right? So you
Right.
didn't plonk down and watch a movie, although I'm sure you did with your family, but in those moments you went and did something else, which also was a little bit of a distraction, but it was almost much not almost it was with a much more mindful intent. You connected with your tribe, you connected with the earth, and you got to step away from whatever the day has thrown upon you, but you went and did something that was so grounding that it then makes everything else more bearable and more clear. And then you did have the ability to have that clarity of mind enough to see that the earth is just throwing you little love hearts everywhere, and you were able to see them because you weren't there going, oh, today I have to go and I have to go to the beach and I have to, blah 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 blah, which is what we tend to do when we're
Mhm.
stressed, and that. So I really love that. I really love that story because it's such a beautiful mindful thing to do, like a meditation, right?
Oh, we had so much fun. I treasure those moments. And the other thing I'm thinking too is, what else do you love to do? Maybe it's you
Mm-hmm.
love to play a sport of some sort with friends, or, by yourself, or walk the dog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are all opportunities where you can work in, like, okay, I'm grounding. And it'll also help, those around you and your pets. Because if you're grounded, they're going to pick up on that and join in.
That's true. Yeah. And then you show up better, right? You show up as a
Exactly.
better version of you rather than the
Right.
grumpy, stressed out, impatient. We've all been there.
Yeah, we all do it.
you
We're
know.
all human. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and like you mentioned, do the things that you enjoy doing, and be in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're so I have it's kind of I just have all these notes in front of me. So, uh, stuff like moving your body. So, be outside, barefoot if
Mm-hmm.
possible, connecting with nature. Maybe go for a swim, go for a hike. Have some really good fresh foods. Like the root vegetables, or munch on a
Mm.
carrot, that sort of thing. Go run. Go take your dog out. Do some yoga. Stomp your feet. That actually releases energy from your legs. Go get a foot massage. That's also very,
Mm.
it brings that energy down into your feet, or even roll your feet on a golf ball or something, or if you don't have a golf ball, a racquetball or whatever. Or my favorite are those little rubber bouncy balls that kids always have. And you bounce around. But those are really perfect. They're the perfect texture and perfect pressure to put on the bottom of your feet, and they tend to be a little bit smaller, so they get into all those little pressure points. um, Even stretching. If you don't have access to any of that, you can just stretch. Hamstring stretches are really great for root chakra. um,
Ah.
and things like that. The other things that I found really interesting. So I've got 3 points. So it says take charge of your finances. So the root chakra tends to be associated with, like I said, the tribe, but it's also that idea of I am provided for. And often, if we kind of feel like our finances are all over the place, we tend to feel like we're not provided for. We tend to lose trust in you know the idea of abundance and having abundance flowing. So if you somehow just start tracking your income, maybe set up a little budget for yourself, so not in a way where you then become so overly structured that it becomes obsessive, but just that way you don't feel so powerless with it. And that is a really good grounding root chakra exercise. And also your surroundings, declutter. you know declutter your office, declutter your home, make your surroundings attractive to you so that you enjoy being in them. And that can also bring a easing effect into your root chakra. And then um, wear red to stimulate your root chakra. So the color red stimulates it while the color blue soothes it. I found that really interesting. And I often find it, this happened to me a few times where I was speaking to someone about the chakras, and just for some reason, the idea of chakras scared them, which I found really interesting. But, like, scares you how? It's just energy within your body. It's usually associated with a nerve bundle in your body, a gland in your body. It's just, energy in your body. We all have it. But this person would tell me that they're terrified of in this particular case, it was the third eye, but she was covered in the color indigo. Everything around her was indigo. And that is the third eye chakra color. And so it's funny to me when someone's like, oh, I'm all over the place, but then they're wearing red. So their body, just like you said, at the beach, the earth is always gifting you things. Your own body is also going to suddenly be attracted to, maybe you wear a little bit more black or red or brown or earthy tones. That is you trying to ground. That is you trying to connect to the earth. I find that so beautiful that we tend to naturally gravitate, and the earth constantly gives us feedback, of, hey,
Right.
here's a heart stone, here's this, and maybe suddenly you'll start seeing, reddish rocks around you because there's so many of them,
Absolutely.
right? Mm.
Absolutely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
really believe in like living your life like as a prayer. Like
Mm-hmm.
I, I treasure me. And, you know, oh, and I know the financing as well, when you mentioned that and the decluttering,
Yeah.
it's so empowering. Like, don't look at it like you said, like a burden. It's like, oh, no, I'm going to make some choices here. How do I want to, paint my life?
Mm-hmm.
What choices do I want to make? Because we're in the driver's seat, you know,
Mm-hmm.
no matter,
Exactly.
we're in, there may be, we have to, we do have to live in this world, but, we can make good choices. And sometimes we make bad choices, but that's okay,
There's
you
that
just,
forgiveness. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, so I didn't tie my shoe tight enough. That's okay.
Right. I fell
Then,
over. Lesson learned.
yeah, right. Will
Yeah.
happen again, maybe it will, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I really do think that, finding some way to message yourself, it's
Mm,
going to
yeah.
flow with you. But,
Uh-huh.
if you can find like I said, use a note application, find some sort of little notebook, or, connect, treat yourself, like you said, treat yourself to a Reiki session,
Hmm.
and see, what kind of messages might unfold for you and help you ground.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the way you mentioned that too, because I think it was yesterday, or was it yesterday that we had talked? At some point we
Yes.
had talked.
Mm.
And I'm always reminded of, the universe can't pick up the phone and call you. So the only way that it can communicate with you is with these little signs, is with synchronicities and, things just to go, oh, there's another red rock. Oh, there's another red rock. Oh, and this red rock is actually shaped like a heart. And, the universe is constantly telling you messages if you're open to receiving them. So I love how you said, find ways to message yourself,
Right.
because the universe is constantly communicating to you and through you, but you need to be there to pick up the phone. You need to be there to to respond somehow, and not, obviously, I mean, yes, you can talk to universe, that's probably what I would say is the closest thing to describing what meditation is you're sitting in stillness and you're there to receive those answers. But in that moment, you can also ask the questions. So it is like you're having a telephone conversation. But if the universe is sending you signs and you're too busy to pick up on them, it's a long road. It's a long road ahead.
Uh-huh.
So I've
No,
got this
that's a
little
great
list.
point.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mm. No, no, you go ahead, Allie.
I've got this little list of if your root chakra is imbalanced. Okay. So I'm just going to go through these little points. Please feel free to um, chime in absolutely anytime. So, does money make you feel guilty or anxious? So, if the answer there is yes, chances are something's a little bit amiss. Is it hard to keep a handle on your finances? Is it a struggle to accumulate wealth? And I would actually venture to say is, are you under the impression that you are not taken care of and that abundance doesn't flow? And where are you the one that's actually blocking it? Is how I would kind of expand upon that. Do you suffer from chronic health conditions? Do you have any issues with your bones or teeth? Are you always losing and misplacing things? Do you hoard or excessively collect things? Are you over or underweight? Do you frequently experience constipation and digestive issues? Do you have difficulty sitting still? Are you more of a couch potato? So any extreme tends to, I mean, now that I'm reading it, some of them I think definitely dabble into other chakras, but any sort of extreme with this, yeah, it makes it feel like, well, I'm not going to be provided for anyway, so I better cling on to things, is kind of the what's the word, the theme that I kind of felt through there. What do you notice if you feel like your root chakra is imbalanced? Is there some kind of stuff that you go, oh, I need to go do whatever, go to the beach, go garden? you know what have you kind of experienced?
When my root chakra, when I'm not, I can feel like anxiety or confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't like I like to be in the flow
Mm-hmm.
and be in the flow of things and feel balanced. No one I'm the word that's coming to mind and I don't like it is yeah, the confusion, almost like a snarl. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
snarl in your environment or something just feels off. Um, so that grounding, taking that moment to say, I am, and to
Mm-hmm.
build, you got to have, you want to take that time to create the building blocks, and grounding is your first building block. It's your root.
Yeah.
So when that's healthy, and of course, you want to work on your whole being, but that's going to hold you so
Yeah.
you can revert back to that, um, and see where it takes you because it's going to happen. I mean, we are here having a human experience. So things are going to come up where, you're tired, you didn't sleep good last night, or whatever it might be that, might be disrupting your life, the grounding will serve you to help walk through, like I said before, you walk through the difficult times and you walk through the good times. And it can also help you enjoy the good times, like really embrace the moment, like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, this is so wonderful. Like, when you're in that really good moment and you think to yourself, I want this to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
so want to remember this. I'm going to remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful point of, if you're able to, in that, I love the way you said that too. You said snarl. That's such a great word for it, because it is
Mm-hmm.
almost like confusion, but with a twist of anger in it. Because you're
Yeah.
angry that you're so confused. Um, Snarl. I love that. That's that's just the absolute perfect word for it. Uh, because then you feel like everything's sort of out of your control. Your money's all over the place. You don't feel safe. You don't really feel secure in that moment. You know, especially say that you come home and that doesn't even feel like a good place to be. It can just make you feel like your whole life is just in sort of disarray, and you don't have anything to connect to. and
Mm-hmm.
and then say in that moment you don't have friends there or anybody to kind of connect with. Maybe you don't enjoy the job you're doing. It snarl. I love that. Snarl. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to use that. That's a great word for it.
Right.
um
And
yep.
embrace the universe because, like I said, we are here having a human experience. So it's, there's
Hmm.
all kinds of different experiences that, And it's so beautiful, I think, that we all bring our different experiences together, the relationships we build, and different things like that. I mean, we're so fortunate to have the internet to connect on. I mean,
True.
to
Yeah,
me,
true.
it's, and we can look at how much we can do, we can have so many different experiences. It's just incredible.
So I love that at the beginning you mentioned that you got into aura. So
Mm,
um, for listeners, it's a would you say a type of regression? I mean, I tend to say it's quantum regression, and then there's different aspects within that, especially in the work I do because I'm QHHT certified, BQH certified, Aura certified. But so when you got into Aura, that is you mentioned that is when you started to uh, I don't want to use the word appreciate because I feel like probably always been a part of you, but that's when you started noticing more the art of grounding. You were more, I guess, connected or present with it, or what would how did you get into, oh, I need to ground, whereas maybe in the past you would have just grounded without, I guess, maybe attaching the label to it in a way, but now it's a very mindful thing of I'm in the moment and this is what I'm doing. So how did you notice that transition, or what difference was it for you?
through those sacred teachings, through the aura, raw Reiki and the aura regression, you step into yourself. And when I work with people, I'm the bridge to help them step into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there holding space and helping um, their higher self or whoever they call to benevolently to clear their energy. So I began to be a practitioner. You start to practice connecting with yourself and clearing your energy so that you can be a good conduit and offer this gift to other people,
Mm-hmm.
because you step into yourself and all of your wonder. We're all star seeds here blossoming,
Yeah.
having this beautiful experience,
Mm-hmm.
but it does take stepping into yourself and being grounded and like making those good choices. But I absolutely love to have sessions myself as well
Mm-hmm.
because it helps me to relax and really know who I am,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take that moment in time. You can do it by yourself, but with somebody, when you bring two things together, they're stronger,
That's true. That's a
you
beautiful way to
know?
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you bring three things or four things, it just
Forget about
becomes right.
it.
You're rocking and rolling.
That's so true. Yeah. And I do. I even though I conduct sessions, when I have a session, it's sort of that reminder of this really is epic. You know?
It is. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just like beyond words. Like once you step into that, there's no turning
Mm-mm.
back.
So true.
Mm-mm.
Once you've had a taste of it, you understand this so much more to what's around us than just what we are able to see and smell and taste and touch. And yeah, that's so true. um Wanted to ask you some other stuff. Let me see. As far as um any physical stuff that you feel, because some people kind of don't know that, because I think self trust is also something that happens over time. Do you know what I mean? So initially, you could literally be showing all the signs of an imbalanced root chakra, but until you get that physical pain in your body, you don't pay enough attention to it. So have you noticed anything like that? Like, let me run through this list. Like, it mentions lower back pain, sciatica, it mentions depression, anxiety. We have definitely touched upon a lot of these. The immune system can feel a bit drained or down, lack of energy. You yourself feel physically drained. uh, excessive negativity. I thought that was really interesting. And cynicism, that's, if it's imbalanced, you kind of tend to be, a downer. Eating issues, feeling like you never have enough, which can then jump over into greed almost. Excessive feeling of insecurity, feeling stuck, feeling angry, or like you said, the snarl. I love that. Having a lot of fear, or just feeling fearful of the moment and the future. Excessive worry, impatience, short temper. So the way to see if a chakra is blocked, it's, I guess, generally it's ruled by fear, whereas when it's an overactive chakra, it turns into greed or paranoia. And I was just kind of wondering, have you noticed any physical stuff maybe before you came into aura work? Did you notice physical stuff that was sort of coming up for you, or were you just always naturally doing things that were releasing any sort of that blockage in that chakra?
As you were reading the list, I was thinking I've experienced all of the above. Check, check,
Okay.
check, check, check.
Got it.
But since I have, become certified and began utilizing these practices, my life just flows.
Mhm.
It's not perfect, but I am so much less anxious.
Mhm.
And I don't know if, because I do feel connected to, I feel like I have a benevolent team that works with me, beyond this earth plane. They have like the funniest sense of humor,
Yeah.
because I work. I have a 3D job, and I go to work, and there's all kind of rules that I got to follow, and sometimes I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you
Okay.
mean. Yeah. Sure. I'll jump through these hoops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to do that. Yeah, I can't
Mhm.
wait. Mhm.
I can't wait.
Uh, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just as you start to, step into yourself and be grounded, and you don't have to be certified to utilize these things, but just start small, baby steps.
Mhm.
Set that intention every day, however much time you can set aside, um, and then send yourself an email, or
Hmm.
mark it on your calendar,
Uh-huh.
however it might be that, you can kind of check in with yourself. But I would definitely, so recommend, connecting with people like yourself and myself,
Mhm.
because it's the greatest gift.
Truly. Yeah. Mhm.
There's no price tag on it, and it's
Mm-mm.
yours.
Mhm.
You're connecting with yourself. There's
Mhm.
no price tag on that.
It's so true. That's so true. And it's such a beautiful reminder. I love that you said send yourself an email.
I do that.
I love that. You send just that's so beautiful because it's true.
I
It's
probably need to make a folder for myself. I just search.
yeah. No, but one thing you mentioned that really stood out for me was that through this work, and I would say not only through this work, I mean, obviously receiving energy, uh, be it in the form of an aura session or a raw session, and then just connecting deeper with your own higher self, your intuition. That could be as simple as from a really good meditative practice. The thing that it does is it makes you feel, and it gives you a knowing that there are energies around you that are there completely to support you. So you never feel like you have to tackle anything alone. You never feel abandoned by the universe or by the world at large. You just kind of feel like, oh yeah, there's something looking out for me, and I'm going to make that energy proud by not doing really silly things. But I'm also don't have to have the fear of, I know I'll be provided for. I know that everything I need will come, and I can trust that I can have connections and relationships with others, because if something doesn't quite gel, I can trust myself to know that I walk away from those situations. And there's this bigger picture that starts evolving once you connect with whatever work resonates with you. So like you said, maybe it is to go get a raw or a Reiki session, but it could also just be a massage. It could be a variety of things. But having that internal relationship with yourself and sending yourself some emails and leaving little notes for yourself to remind you that you are so supported in this life. So
Right,
I love
right.
that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned too about when you get grounded, you're going to recognize, oh, that's not for me. And
Yeah.
you'll be able to set those boundaries, but not, you know, we, we always want to do everything in love. So
Hmm.
maybe you just find a way to, set your course to not engage in those things that are going to bring you anxiety,
Hmm.
or maybe whatever it might be, a change that you might want to make in your life
Yeah.
so that, you are more grounded and more comfortable.
Yeah. But that's a good point too, is hey, if this whatever it is brings you anxiety, makes you feel terrible afterwards, stop doing it.
Mhm.
Because I feel like all too often, I mean, you say healthy boundaries, all too often we do things because, well, so and so said I should, or so and so asked me to. But you know did it feel right to you? Maybe you're not even the right person to be doing that for this person. Maybe there's someone who's actually better equipped. It resonates with them. Therefore, they're going to just put a totally different energy into it than you're going to if you're doing it begrudgingly, right? If you've got the
Right.
snarl about you when you're doing it, you're probably not going to do it with as much love and compassion and respect that whatever this thing that you're doing deserves, and it's not coming from the best version of you. So is there perhaps a way to step out of it? But then also, like you said, we do all have a job. We have to support ourselves. We are living in this reality, and uh, maybe just kind of changing our mind about a few things and approaching things from a different perspective might be exactly the twist that you need. And the best way to accomplish that is, hey, maybe I'm just going to ground. I'm going to you know um so give myself a solid foundation to function from, and therefore I can show up better. And yes, maybe it's not the thing that I want to be doing right now, but at least I'm not doing it every day with a snarl and with I don't want to, and just a bad attitude. At least I'm going to show up better, and it's not my favorite activity, but I'm going to do it with a smile on my face because I understand that it's part of a bigger picture that I really resonate with you know
That's so beautifully said, Allie. I love it.
Well, thank you so
Mhm.
much. So uh, before we kind of finish off on this topic, how can someone reach out to you if you wanted if they wanted to perhaps get a session with you or just connect with you?
I'm sure. So I'm Aura Practitioner's site under
Hmm.
Aggie, and you'll see my information there, and you can just email me at this point. I'm in the process of, developing a website where people can reach me and see more about me. But right now, you can email me, and we'll see how we could work together.
I love that. And for anybody listening, I'll definitely include Aggie's contact that she mentioned. I'll include that in the show notes so you can just have a peek. And then perhaps as you develop your website, I'll include that information there as well to make it easier and easier for future listeners to connect with you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank
I
you.
thank you so much. Do you have anything to add about this beautiful topic?
No, this has been such a great conversation. Every time we share with one another, um, it's just so great to understand all the gifts that we have,
Hmm.
all the tools that we have in this beautiful earth that, we all share. I just wish that, we could be on prime time TV, the Good Day Show, sharing all this.
Make this go mainstream, right? Yeah, I agree.
Please, please, and just shut off all the noise that,
Yeah.
there's no solution. you know?
Yeah, I
We need a
totally
new
agree.
plan. We need a new plan.
Yeah. Well, and it's just so beautiful to connect with not only like-minded individuals, but individuals with a slightly different perspective of things, so that we can look at it from many different angles.
Oh, yes,
Word
it
of the
really
day: snarl.
Yes, yes. We wanna work those snarls out and avoid them, you know?
Yeah.
Nurture ourselves so that they don't, but when they happen, that's okay. We help each other.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate your time, and I appreciate all your perspectives. And hopefully, we can do this again one day, as we, evolve our topic into new things and new aspects. So, thank you so very, very much. Um,
I'm honored. I'm honored, Allie. Honored to be here speaking with you.
Thank you. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to connect further, please visit www.soulhealingessentials.com. Don't forget to grab that free chakra journal outlining all the chakras, and it allows you the opportunity to meditate on them, take notes on how the meditations and your connection with your chakras evolve. Take Aggie's suggestion and maybe send yourself an email as a beautiful reminder of who you are, and maybe to connect to the earth in that moment. Like I said, you can find Aggie on the aurapractitioners.com website, which I will leave in the show notes. And, just check out that website anyway. There's so many beautiful practitioners with a variety of skills and a variety of talents. For feedback on the episode, or topic submission, or general feedback on the podcast, you can email shetalks@soulhealingessentials.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your podcast feed. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, bye bye.